Hi, I'm Marissa Green, creator of Curiosity Over Chaos, and I wanted to pop on here and tell you a little bit about the discussion that we want to drive here in this channel and on this platform. I've been really interested in unpacking this idea of what happens when we approach chaos with a sense of curiosity. And I'm specifically interested in this because of the moment we are living through right now. I feel like I'm living in a blender most days. I've got something about AI coming at me. Social media is making my kids anxious. The climate is changing. And then you layer on top of it this immense amount of political unrest and what feels like tragedy nearly every day. And at a certain point, my nervous system can't take it. But I also am kind of an innate and always on optimist. Not like rosy colored glasses and trying to make everything Pollyanna positive, but more this idea of out of this chaos must come something different, must come something better, even. And so I went all in over the past few months, really unpacking and trying to uncover what happens when people, cultures, societies, individuals start to look at chaos through the lens of curiosity. What actually happens, and how do we start doing that more? And when I went on this journey, I realized that so much of my work experience has actually been the study of this course in my life, because I have spent my career of more than 20 years working with large organizations, startup companies, small orgs in navigating massive change. So whether it was an acquisition, whether it was a new strategy, shifting to a new purpose and transforming the organizational culture, everything that I've done has been about helping employees to find a greater sense of curiosity amidst huge change. I started to realize that I have been part of ushering in curiosity for my whole career. And I started to look back on the individuals and the leaders and the people that I've worked with, really taking a look at what was the differentiator during those moments of massive change. What was the differentiator in helping somebody thrive through that change in comparison to just simply surviving, or even in some cases, crumbling amidst change? The answer always came back to curiosity. It wasn't a playbook that was created. It wasn't about having the change management roadmap, like I's dotted, T's crossed. I mean, organizations have all of those, and I've been part of creating them more than I would like to admit. But it wasn't the playbook or the roadmap that made a difference. It was actually whether somebody was willing to step into the change with this greater sense of curiosity, and not just like surface curiosity, right? Not just, oh, this is interesting, I wonder what it will be like, and kind of sitting back and still waiting for the answers to come or waiting for certainty to be presented to them. I'm talking about people who really dove in and got serious about finding the answers themselves. So they weren't waiting for someone else to tell them how it was all going to go. They were stepping all the way in to uncover which direction did they want to take it. Even as the name of the show is Curiosity Over Chaos, I became extremely curious around what else exists where curiosity moves us out of a state of chaos. Like, where else is that happening? It's happening in our organizations, it's happening probably in our communities, but I also wanted to know, where else is it happening and how can we harness that? How can we develop even more curiosity in our daily lives to help us through this chaotic time? Here's what I found out. I found out that it also exists in nature, and it also exists in our brains. Like, there's so much science behind the idea that curiosity is a key to evolving out of chaos. In nature, in science, it's called the edge of chaos. There's actually an entire study called complexity theory that's centered around the idea of what happens between complete and total structure and complete and total randomness. There is this space in between that they call the edge of chaos. And it is in that edge of chaos that real creativity, innovation, and sparks of something new emerge. In particular, when you start thinking about evolution and times of significant change across humanity, those all happened at these moments and these edges of chaos. And so sometimes when I get really overwhelmed with the blender and what feels like an immense amount of chaos coming at me all the time, I start to sit in this idea of what is emerging from this chaos and what are we moving through that will actually make us better on the other side. The second place that curiosity shows up amidst chaos is inside our brains. And our brains are wired to help us look for risks and to assess risks and to send our bodies into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, depending on what lion is chasing us. And what I learned is that the best way to get our brains to learn something new, to adapt, or to evolve is to actually look at those fears with more curiosity. And in doing that, creating a greater sense of safety in our nervous systems when going through rapid change or when meeting chaos. Nobody actually beat the lion in a frozen state, right? The humans who evolved because they figured out how to break free of that freeze. And the way that that happened was they leaned into curiosity. They uncovered new ways of tackling the same problem. And by doing that, they wired new pathways in their brains. And the same thing is happening to us right now. We have this opportunity to up level our brains, up level our nervous systems, and to sit in this edge of chaos and find our curious sense inside of it so that we can move into becoming something better, more adapted, and hopefully even more human. But the biggest thing that I learned is that this isn't something that you're born with or not born with. Like, this is not something that only a few people have, a sense of curiosity. Every single one of us has a sense of curiosity embedded inside of us. We have it immediately as children. If you have kids or if you've been a kid, one or the other, imagine and think back to those times of just watching or experiencing life through the eyes of a child. It is all a sense of wonder. It is all a sense of curiosity. And of course, it's hard to do that during chaotic times, especially when we feel threatened or when we feel like our sense of survival is at stake. Those are also the moments, though, that present the greatest opportunity for us to evolve and up level and find a better way forward. It's all part of the spiral. And so I'm really, really interested in creating this space, curiosity over chaos, to help all of us have a place to practice curiosity, have a place to step into wonderment again, and navigating and finding the tools, the techniques that we need to remember what it's like to be curious, to find that part of ourselves again. Because the truth is, it's kind of been beat out of us. Like, especially if you work in any kind of more structured or rigid capacity, if you're not an artist or if you've been maybe in corporate for 20 plus years like me, your sense of curiosity gets dampened. Instead of asking questions, you're supposed to have answers. Instead of being creative and innovative in your daily work, you're supposed to follow orders and get results. It's not that curiosity isn't a part of who we already are. It's just that we need to practice and remember how to anchor back to that curiosity. And I think if we do, we're going to be cultivating the skill and the number one capability that we need as humans to be able to thrive in what's coming. We don't have an idea of what's coming. It could be that everything's going to change. It could be that only a few things are going to change. But regardless, finding a way to navigate all of these changes with a bit more questioning and less answering, it'll help all of us find more peace in the moments of uncertainty. And so I don't yet know exactly what this channel or this platform is going to become. I am fully embracing the uncertainty and the ambiguity, but I know that if I am curious enough to stop worrying about when is all the chaos going to end and instead start asking, what is emerging in front of me, I'm pretty sure we can have some awesome conversations and help each other move into whatever is next with more peace, more calm, and a lot more curiosity. So I hope you stay tuned. I am really excited to unpack some really interesting topics with you, to start talking to some experts, and to really work through remembering how to be curious together.